Dominic Raab has suggested Britain could boycott the up-and-coming Winter Olympics in Beijing. This, of course, is the Foreign Secretary who said that he would consider action against China for its serious and egregious human rights violations against the Uighur Muslims. Widespread reports have indicated that they are being held against their will in re-education centres, undergoing forced contraception and being subjected to a range of other restrictions. Let's speak with Tom Tugendhat, Chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee and Conservative MP, of course, for Tunbridge. Tom Tugendhat, afternoon to you. We've talked on this area before, of course. How serious do you think the Foreign Secretary is?
Well, I hope he's being extremely serious, because it's what we're witnessing in Xinjiang in Western China today, and indeed in Tibet, and indeed in Hong Kong, are some of the most serious human rights abuses that we've seen for decades. And so I think it's really important that countries that speak about human rights, that value human rights, that speak about the international duties of other nations, should stand up for those values and, if need be, make that clear at important international events like the Olympics.
Hinting that you might be willing to do this, I mean, this is still over a year away, of course, it's 2022. It is very different from having a mobilised campaign to try and get your global colleagues on board and doing something about it.
Yeah, of course it is. And look, let's recognise, first of all, that there's a year or more to go. And so we very much hope that the actions that we're seeing in Western China will stop, the forced sterilizations, the mass detentions, and indeed the barbaric destruction of so much cultural heritage. That would be a very welcome start. And if that happened, then I know many people would feel differently about it.
Well, what is as far as you can ascertain, Tom, what are the Chinese saying about this? Because when the last time I looked, their response appears to be there's nothing to see here.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the Chinese ambassador has been denying that there are any human rights abuses at all, despite the fact, I don't know if you've seen, that there's been quite a lot of coverage of Uighur Muslims who've been detained and are now finding asylum in Turkey. There's other, Bellingcat has done some extremely good reporting, working out exactly what various lineups of prisoners about to get on trains in a horribly reminiscent, incidents horribly reminiscent of the 1930s. We know this is true, and frankly, denial is so completely incredible that it's insulting the intelligence of the global community to claim it.
Isn't there an irredeemable reality in this, though, Tom Tugendhat, in that the Chinese are so darn powerful, economically speaking, in terms of their what appears to be their evolving dominance on the planet, some suggesting overshadowing the United States as the most powerful, etc. I mean, this is the direction of travel for China, isn't it? It would be a brave country that went ahead and said, we're not coming to your Olympics. They're likely to turn around and say, fine.
Well, look, damn it, I'm British, and I think these things matter. I know that they matter to many other people. I think it matters to all of us that we stand up for the values that we hold dear. And if we have to, work with others to get a collective response together, well, let's put the effort in. I don't see any point in deciding that we're going to be global Britain and bowing down before the local bully.
And I think most people would agree with that. But can you really imagine a situation if in a year's time nothing has changed in China, it may have even got worse, that the British government will be mobilising a campaign to boycott the Olympics? Can you see that?
Well, it should be. I mean, if the British government isn't willing to do that, which frankly is pretty low-hanging fruit, then what are we here for?
Tom Tugendhat, thank you, Chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee. Robust and honest stuff from Tom. Whether you'd get the government, this is the problem, isn't it? It's very easy to talk in this way. Dominic Raab is right. Tom Tugendhat is definitely right. But would it come to anything? It never see. We've seen it with the World Cup coming up, the same issue there, the whole Qatar thing and the debates that are around it, where we think what's going on there is terrible. I know sometimes you have to be inside the tent doing it outwards rather than the other way around, but come on, guys. I mean, this is serious stuff. This is getting into some. He evoked the thoughts of 1930 in his responses there, and you can see this false sterilizations and all manner of other horrendous abuses going on in China. And there is a flat denial of what the rest of the world knows is going on. This is a shameful, tyrannical, communist-based regime Not a nice place to be. Anyone who's ever been there will tell you that, it's the usual drill. Lovely country, lovely people, but a government that makes Putin look like the Green Party.